First off, I want to thank the grace of heaven and the virtues of the masters, the grand predecessor and predecessors, and transmitting masters, mercy, to give me this opportunity to talk about, continue to talk about from this book, The Answers to Truth. Okay, so this, talking about these sections here, the coming of Maitreya Buddha, the last chance, and bringing salvation to the three worlds, or three realms. Okay, all right. Okay, so this coming of Maitreya Buddha, right? We all know who Maitreya Buddha is, right? I believe, right? We should all know, right? The happy Buddha, okay? So now, actually, he's been in this world many times. So or at least in this one cycle, okay, so here it says, right, 10 cycles ago. So one cycle, right, is like the 129,600 years. Okay, that's what we mean by one cycle. There's actually just one of these guys. Oh wait, it's missing the words. Okay, so, all right, but anyways, so one cycle, 129,600. So 10 cycles, so roughly, well, that's more than 1,000,000 years ago, right?
What?
More than 1,000,000, yeah, more than 1,000,000 years ago, right? So then, Maitreya back then, he made a vow to become a Buddha in the Pure Land. Okay, so
he was a bodhisattva then.
so I don't know if he was, probably he was probably a bodhisattva back then. so that seed was planted 10 cycles ago, and now during this time, this cycle that we're in now is, I guess you can bear fruit. Okay, so that now the I don't know. I guess that what that means is that there's probably always, because we always say that each cycle has the white, green, red, and white periods, right? And then there's universal salvation in each time.
I'm not so sure about that.
You're not so sure about that?
No, I don't think so. Because, it's different. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways,
Doesn't matter.
because it could be a different Buddha each cycle.
Yeah.
So okay, but anyways, all right. Born in a time of, okay. So in this cycle, when he was born, he was also born when Buddha was born. Okay. Well, not exactly the same time, but he was a follower of Buddha at the time. And Buddha then did say, right, to that Maitreya. I don't know. I guess that at that time his name was Maitreya too. He would enter Nirvana, 12 years later, and teach in Tusita Heaven. Okay, so Tusita Heaven it's actually, I think it's in this the fourth level of the 6 levels of the realm of desire. Okay, so that's the lowest. The world is part of that realm.
You're talking about Tusita Heaven?
Yeah, Tusita Heaven. Now, Tusita Heaven is where basically the Buddhas or Bodhisattvas who are there, and then they come into this world, they will become the next Buddha. The next, I don't know. Yeah, so Sakyamuni Buddha, he was in Tusita Heaven, and then he was born into this world to become the next Buddha. And so same with Maitreya. He's now in Tusita Heaven. He's going to come back into this world. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the future. And then he officially become the next Buddha. Okay. All right. So actually, when we go back, well, I don't know. We go back to Tusita Heaven though.
If you are
follow.
No. If we receive the Tao,
We don't. Okay.
you skip that.
Yeah.
But if we did not receive the Tao and you do okay, you do good things.
Right.
You go to one of those celestial heaven, and that's the 4th level. That's not the
Yeah.
highest.
Yeah, I know. That's 4th level.
Yeah, 4th.
Yeah,
You
so-
can-
Yeah, so the followers of Maitreya, if they practice the 5 precepts, right? 5 precepts everyone knows, right? It's no killing,
Yeah.
no stealing, no
lying, lust,
no lust, and
alcohol,
no intoxicants. Okay.
intoxicants.
And then the 10 good measures, which includes those,
Yeah.
and no slander, no abusive speech, no, like you can say,
Double
Lust,
tongue.
or double, yeah.
Yeah,
no
well,
abusive speech,
no,
no lying, no
no-
abusive, no flattery, and
well,
divisive speech. Divisive.
oh well, yeah. Okay.
Double tongue. That's
Or like idle talk or nonsensical
that's
type.
flattery. Yeah, idle talk is
Okay,
flattery.
okay.
Yeah,
Right.
idle talk.
And then the 3 poisons as well. So the 3 poisons: greed, anger, and
Ignorance.
ignorance, infatuation, all those stuff. Okay, so those are the 10 good measures. Don't do those things. So, and then it says, if you chant his name, then you can reborn in his pure land. Well, yeah, I guess to see to heaven, and then those who follow him to the seat of heaven, right? Those who've already deceased, they went there, and then they're going to be reborn into this world, in this the Pure Land is going to be in this world, okay? So that's his vow. He's going to create this world into a Pure Land, okay? And then listen to his sermon, okay? So that's, even though he's been in this world in 17th Patriarch, right? But it's not yet that Pure Land, not at that time, okay? So that's this. Still talking about the future. Okay. So now there's this question about this golden rooster crows 3 times. Okay, so that's been mentioned in like the scriptures or whatever, and so people ask, "Holy teacher, what does that mean?" Okay, so the golden rooster, right? So gold in Chinese is jing, right? Jing. Okay, so it's actually refers to metal. Okay, so there's one of the 5 fundamental elements, right? And represents the orientation west and the color white. Okay, so now rooster. Okay, well, rooster. It's one of the animals in the zodiac, Chinese zodiac. Okay, so this also refers to Jingong, right? Jingong refers. Well, but that gong. Oh, okay. Well, there's another gong too, but that refers to my tree of Buddha, right? Because we say Jingong is not this gong, not the rooster. Yeah.
What gong is that?
It's the Qigong, the gong. Yeah, it's like
the public.
Yeah, the
gong,
public
okay.
gong. Yeah. Okay, so, but this, but because the Chinese years, right? They have the zodiac sign plus an element, right? That's how they do it. So it's a 60-year cycle, right? 5 elements and 12 zodiac
12
signs.
animals,
That's
yeah. So 5 times 12.
60 years for a cycle for each combination.
So the rooster is which year in the zodiac? Number 9? Number 7?
I don't know which one comes, but
I forgot.
Look in the calendar.
oh yeah,
It's a rooster.
but okay. So the rooster. Wait, is this?
10?
Number 10?
10?
I don't know.
This is not the rooster year, is it?
You sure?
Yeah.
Number 10 is.
Oh, it's all tied up there.
This-
So.
Wait,
No.
wait, let me ask you.
Is this the
It's
rooster year?
今年是马
This is
Oh no, this is the horse year. No,
Horse
yeah,
serpent?
what is
I
it?
don't know what this
This
is.
is number 10?
dog.
Yeah.
This is the dog
I
year.
forgot what year.
Yeah, this is
Actually, the
dog
dog year.
This
Yes.
is
Oh, this is
year.
dog
Rooster.
year?
Okay, this is the dog year.
Yeah, this is the dog year.
No.
The dog year's 10.
No,
Dog year's
before-
10.
Before the
Before the
dog
dog.
is rooster. That's
Oh,
correct.
really? Oh, right before the dog.
9.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so some
Before that was
people,
monkey, I think, or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
so people kind of say, oh, does this mean? Okay, so the 3 times. Okay, I'll get into the thing, but all right. It also could refer to a year of the rooster in the
Right,
white era, right? So it's white, and then the rooster.
Because white is gold. I mean, it's jing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
gold,
Jing, right. Now I had the thought that, well, maybe is it going to be a golden rooster year? I mean,
Right,
that would
right,
be
that's-
that would be even more specific.
That people-
But I don't know. This is speculation. Okay, so
that
so
he's
we don't know.
Born in that year.
Yeah,
or
we don't
come
know.
in that
Yeah,
year.
yeah, we don't know. Okay, so, but this also symbolizes his mission, Maitreya Buddha's mission to, to create this pure land in this world. Okay, and also it's saying it's just like the white. Okay, so the 3 periods, right? The green, red, and white. You can also say that kind of represents the seasons, right? Spring, summer, fall, and then also like the sun rising in the east, and then I guess from the north, anyways,
Wow,
it's in the
symbol.
south, and then to the west, right? Sets in the west. So that basically it implies changes in the west. So you can say the propagation of Tao throughout the whole world, right, from the east to the west, and so there are going to be changes as a result of that. Okay, so now basically it's prophesizing the future coming of the Maitreya Buddha. Right? The first crowing happened in 1926. So this is after the 17th Patriarch already returned. I mean, he completed his mission as a 17th Patriarch in 1925. Right. So the following year, there was a miracle. Okay, a miracle. Right. So basically, back then, I don't know if they had normal channeling, but
Yeah, Sam writing.
They only had sand writing. They didn't have the other type of channeling. Okay, so but this you can say was like maybe the first, I don't know, first that we know of where he borrowed someone's body, okay, to channel, right?
Oh, it's not a talent?
No, this person is
Yeah,
just
they
a.
didn't have
They didn't have the
He's
talent back
talents
then.
back
They
then.
didn't have this.
Official talent.
talent.
They just borrow anybody.
Yeah, yes, he just borrowed
Yeah,
this person.
yeah, yeah.
This Mr. Yang. He was I guess he was
Yeah,
a cultivator. He was an ascetic.
Yeah, but
Okay.
he's not
also
a
stranger.
But he's he's not
he's
in the
not
Tao.
trained
He's not in the
channeling.
Tao.
Right,
He's
right.
not in the Tao community.
It's weird. Yeah.
And so he, borrowed him. Basically his spirit, his soul's gone, right? I mean, well, I guess because of his sacrifice, he's in heaven too. Okay.
You mean he passed away after
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Because he didn't. Okay, during the 100 days, right? There's a 100-day channeling. Basically, he didn't eat.
Yeah, he didn't eat.
He didn't eat.
He might have slept, but rested.
I guess, yeah.
It's
So-
very interesting back then. Yeah, back then it's like a lot of,
Yeah.
very we can say
Couldn't the
strange
Buddha,
things happen.
Like maintain his body?
Yeah, during that time, during the 100 days.
But then after 100 days, he's gone.
Well, but, basically, I don't know if it was due to his affinity or whatever. I mean, I don't think the Buddha would just randomly pick someone, but maybe he had some kind of affinity and then, like,
mission. That was
yeah,
his
mission. And then so anyways, I'm sure that he, the Buddha would take care of his soul.
I'm sure he's
He's back in
a high
heaven.
position.
Okay, yeah. Okay, for that. So I think during that time, that 100 days, like the Maitreya, the Mila Zhenjing was
recorded.
recorded during this
Officially
time.
recorded.
During this first one, I think.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think so.
I think it's the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Samurai.
And then there are a couple other things. Okay, and
the
then
provincial. No, the provincial.
There's a second sutra.
no, there was another sutra. There's another sutra of Maitreya.
Yeah, there's the sutra of something Maitreya or something.
Let me see. I think it's called. What do they call it?
Marvelous sutra or something. No.
Okay. Let's see. There's a mystic doctrine
Yeah,
of Jingong Zusi.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the true teaching of Mila Buddha.
Mila Zhenjing and
Yeah.
the
True
mystic.
teaching is the Mila Zhenjing.
Yeah.
And then the mystic something.
Yeah, there's some. He has some scriptures. That's pretty long. Okay, and then that it's so this plus well I don't know if it's during this first or second one, but when he's like writing, right? Both hands are writing at the same time.
Yes,
He's right. I mean, it's
Not
like
the way
wow.
you see the talents now.
Not like that.
Oh, not with the
No,
stick.
no. I mean, because he channeled through the body, so he's using the body, and he's just writing with like
Both
Maobi
hands.
to
Yeah. Not on the
brushes.
sand.
Just-
Not on the sand.
It's just writing
On
with
paper.
both hands.
Amazing.
Yeah, both hands at the same time. So that's like real miraculous
Yeah,
stuff.
very mystical stuff
Yeah.
happened. Yeah. During that time.
Yeah,
That period.
right. Because this is kind of like the beginning of the spread of Tao.
Yeah, you can say the official
During that
beginning
time,
of the
the white-
white era. you
yeah,
can say
so-
the end of the red, white.
In order to get the Tao, get these people to believe, and a lot of things, miracles happen, like swapping people's souls, things like that.
No, yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot of that.
Yeah.
That's later.
Yeah. Okay, but anyways, okay, so that's the first crone. And then the second crone is in 1929, 3 years later. Again, he manifested through another person, Mr. Du, for 1 month. Okay. I assume that the
He
same...
didn't pass away, right?
I don't know. I assume he had the same fate.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I'm not... See, I don't know too much about the second one.
Yeah.
Um, But, okay, so... The third crowing, as far as we know, well, no, it hasn't happened yet. Okay, the third crowing hasn't happened yet. Okay, now he's going to be reborn, so he's actually going to be born again into this world. Okay, just like he was when he ascended to patriarch, he's going to be born himself, and then at that point he will, well, sometime later he will announce, and I don't know. It says in the book it says manifest the Tao, but whatever that means. That will be close to the time of the final catastrophe. Okay, so
81st.
World War III. so
Don't know.
huh?
Don't know which
Don't-
was the final catastrophe.
Well, no, it is World War III.
Well, 81st is
Well.
supposed to be the catastrophe of the wind.
Yeah, right.
Cosmic.
Right.
Sorry, cosmic. wind.
Right.
Cosmic.
Right, World War III is definitely going to be a nuclear war. So, but anyways, so we don't know when that's going to happen. Although, if you look at now, it's like, it's possible that in this administration, it could happen, but who knows? Okay, so, but, if you think about it, though, this white era is supposed to be 10,800 years.
Right.
Well, there's a long
So
time.
then humans will still exist even after the final catastrophe.
Well, yeah, because that's when the Pure Land is
Pure
going to
Land.
be.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
So the
yeah,
Pure Land is not going to be
utopia.
before that, right? I mean, it doesn't make sense that you have a utopia and then nuclear holocaust.
right.
Well, your final catastrophe does not necessarily imply a single event. That's why.
No, there's supposed to be
Several,
81.
right?
There's supposed to be 81.
Well,
A series.
No,
of
the final is the
uh,
81st. Yeah.
But
No, but
Jing
it's still a series.
金老点传师 said first it's the water
Then
and then
fire.
the fire
No, that's-
and
yeah.
then the wind. So whoever survived from the water will get hit with the fire. Whoever survived from the fire will get hit with the wind.
Well, there's supposed to be 81 quote unquote
Major
81,
whatever.
calamities.
calamities.
Types of calamities. Types. Or we can
Well,
say types,
not
categories.
types.
Maybe
No,
categories.
I wouldn't categories.
Yeah,
I
it could
don't.
be category. It could be by earthquake, by who knows, whatever. It doesn't matter. By wind, by fire, by whatever. Okay, but then supposedly the last one
Right.
will be the cosmic
Right,
ray,
right.
which will be like a big cleanup.
Right, right.
cleanup.
Radiation.
And then so that means what happens after the 81st, we say 81st calamity or that by the cosmic wind, there will be very few humans left. After
Right. Yeah, I'll get to that. Yeah. Okay.
That's
So,
why
all right.
it's a series. It's not-
Right.
it's not-
Well, I mean, a world war is a series, so it's not like happened in one day, right? So it's going to happen
Yeah,
over time.
Take over,
So-
a year, a couple
so,
years.
all right. So, anyways, yeah. So, I don't know if we're going to see it necessarily in our lifetime, but who knows? Okay, it can happen anytime. So Maitreya Buddha, yeah. I mean, we don't know. I mean, it could be even 100 years later. I don't know, but seeing as how things are going, yeah, I don't know.
I think it's within 100 years, for sure.
Yeah.
Within.
Yeah.
Probably
I mean, if you
within
think
50.
about it, okay, we have transmitting masters. That's right, the only way to transmit the Tao. So,
So that mandate
even though there's a
exists.
lot of transmitting masters right now, the youngest may be like in their 30s, perhaps.
Yeah.
So you might think, okay, I mean, they're still kind of giving the mandate, but that's there's still very
Well, at
limited
least
time of
passing on
that.
the three treasures.
Yeah.
Passing
So-
on the three treasures.
So you can think, probably.
Yeah, how long? Another 50
Yeah,
years?
yeah,
Right, so that's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
So by the time there's no transmitting master, there's no medium.
Well, if there's no transmitting masters, how do we
There's no
receive the
more
Tao?
Tao
How do you receive the
Right.
Tao?
Can't receive the Tao.
Heaven will take the mandate back.
Right. I mean,
But that all happened after Maitreya declared.
Probably,
himself.
yeah, that probably
because then-
happened there.
Because then that will supposedly be the beginning of the era of the the utopia, whatever.
Yeah.
So that there's no need
right.
to pass on the Tao because whoever or not whoever, but most people that remain are already pretty good
Pure.
already. I mean, yeah, you can say
Yeah.
pretty good, pretty pure, and all the supposedly quote unquote evil ones or what are already gone.
Gone.
Yeah, so
Right, right.
supposedly.
Okay. Okay, so that's all right. Now, okay, so the last chance. Okay, that's the next section here. It says, okay, so Maitreya Buddha is the last of the 10 Buddhas to govern this one cycle, right? This
Right,
cycle,
yeah.
I don't know. I guess assume every cycle has 10 Buddhas,
Yeah, I
Right.
suppose as well.
and so he's the last. Sakyamuni Buddha was the previous one, and then London or Dipankara was the previous to that.
That's the green.
In the green period. Okay, so yeah, and then so the white era is this last chance for people to receive the Tao blessing, right, in this cycle. So this is like the big time, the universal salvation, when basically during this period, of course, I guess I don't know. I guess God, the Buddhas had what it says in here. The Buddhas pleaded with God to have like a universal salvation or something to let all the good people be able to receive the Tao during this time to save them from the catastrophes. Right.
See, yeah, but I think there's a caveat
Hmm.
because it's really people who have the affinity. Even if you're good,
Hmm.
in this life, you may not necessarily have the affinity.
Right.
See, that's very important.
Well,
that's
I mean,
very
there's a lot of people who are good but may not have the affinity. Yeah.
It's so that's why, that's why Buddha said that there's an urgency to try to spread it to those people.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so obviously, there's already decline. Well, since the Green Period, there's already been a lot of decline in morality and increase in committing sins. Okay, so anyways, this is our final chance to be able to receive the Tao. Again, it's not probably within a generation or two. That's how much time we have to spread the Tao. Okay. Okay, so I don't know. This didn't show up right. Okay, but anyways, you've seen the cycle before anyway. So this is actually supposed to be white here. It was white. I don't know, it became black when I changed the color scheme. But anyways, the white era. Okay, so yeah, so we're at the 1 o'clock. This is the 1 o'clock position.
Yeah.
And so this white era. At the end of the white, there's basically, people have. This is the Pure Land during this time, but people as they return back to heaven, and then I don't know. There may be some life left, but who knows?
No, there will be.
Yeah.
There will be.
What, people?
Yeah,
No,
there's
people will still
There's
exist,
still people.
but they're not that many.
No,
That's
there'll be
interesting.
people.
They're not
Well,
that
the thing is, it may not necessarily. I mean, if there isn't, and that's possible too, but it may not. The next cycle may not be on this earth. Okay, so that's also a
Oh, yeah,
possibility.
because
Yeah,
the next
that's
cycle,
possible
the next
too,
cycle
yeah.
after this is called Solan.
Called what?
Solan.
Solan. Well, yeah.
Solan.
Well,
So
no, that's the
therefore
next
there will
period.
be-
Yeah.
Next period. So therefore, there will have to be land in order to Solan.
Wow. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
solar just means that gradually
The-
people
decline.
become
There's a
fewer
decline.
and fewer, less
Yeah,
and
yeah.
less
Decline.
population. So right now we have like 7.5 billion people. And that's a lot of people, right?
Right.
And then to get to decrease, that means a lot of people die.
Wow, yeah,
That's
yeah,
really
Well,
sad.
many will occur already in this period.
Yeah. Okay, so bringing salvation to 3 worlds, right? The universal salvation of 3 realms or 3 worlds. Yeah, they use the term worlds, but we say realms.
Yeah.
Same idea.
Yeah, same thing. The human world, the spiritual, and the underworld, and also the diva, the celestial heaven. Okay. So humans, of course, we can receive the Tao blessing directly. The souls in the underworld depend upon the living descendants, right, to uplift them, basically, to receive the Tao, to cultivate and possibly. Okay, actually, so we see examples of these. So there's some people who've been uplifted. So like senior transmitter Jin, right, he uplifted his parents and his sister.
No, not his sister.
Yeah, sister.
Yeah.
Because his sister died.
No,
First, before
you
he
have
did.
to
Yeah,
uplift
before,
her
I mean,
before she
young.
reincarnated.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
I didn't know that.
It's your family history.
but so they had the sand writing, right? This is 1982 was the first one. I don't know. 1982 first one in Tongren. Okay, so because Lao Chenan, the grand predecessor, came and then had the 3 towns, and then so he requested to have Jiayuan with his mother, I think,
Right, mother.
first. Right? I don't know. Were you there? Both?
Not grandfather? Not
No.
father?
No. First was mother.
Mother.
Right.
Weren't you there?
No, he wasn't there. I think it's only transmitter
Oh,
Ray.
okay.
And then basically, so they had the sand writing thing, and I think transmitter also asked, how she was not uplifted then. She was not,
She was already uplifted.
She was already uplifted.
She was already uplifted, but the first time it was just to ask her like what hell was like.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
A little bit like that.
So basically, if we haven't received the Tao, we go report to hell in the underworld, and then sometimes we have to suffer there, to be punished, whatever. So yeah, even his mother was in there. His sister also was in the underworld. They were suffering, but as soon as he received the Tao, they didn't have to suffer. I read that in the scripture.
Yeah,
Okay.
as soon as
As soon as
Even though they're still down there.
as soon as senior transmitter
Yeah,
Jin
they
received the
suffered
Tao,
yeah.
then they didn't have to suffer as much. Okay, I don't know if they had any kind of suffering, but they didn't have to suffer as much.
but they were still in hell.
Yeah, they were still in the
Yeah, that's what I'm
underworld.
saying. Yeah,
They
very
got to
special
listen
case.
to the Dharma from the Buddha,
It'll
Siddhagarbha
be
Buddha,
6 patriarchs.
or
It'll be 6 patriarchs.
other Buddhas could
No,
do
yeah,
too.
other, yeah. But City Garba's
Yeah,
definitely
he's
down there.
yeah. So and then later on, of course,
When they were
as soon as they uplifted, then Jigong Buddha came and fetched them from the underworld to bring them to heaven. Okay, so yeah, so that's kind of pretty amazing. So now, okay, so that's from the underworld, and then the deities in celestial heavens, right? They have two choices. They take, if they know about the Tao. I don't know if they necessarily all know about receiving the Tao.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, they might be enjoying themselves too much.
Correct,
That it's not
correct.
really.
Yeah, because
No.
the whole idea
Yeah,
of
you
intellectual
enjoy-
learning is
enjoy your reward,
Yeah,
yeah.
just because you're reaping the rewards,
Yeah.
karmic
Right.
rewards, whereas underworld's karmic
Right.
retribution.
So those people who are like they buy, well, they 献香, right, and
Right.
then make offerings
Right.
to these saints,
Deities, yeah,
right, deities,
whatever,
right? They're enjoying it up there,
Right,
okay?
right.
So so they may not know, okay? So but the ones who do know, right? They have two choices. They can either try to be reborn into this world as human and hopefully encounter the Tao, receive the Tao, but that's taking a big risk. Or they can try to find someone who, during their past lives,
Yeah.
they have some affinity with,
Right.
who's already received the Tao,
Yeah.
has a connection with the Taos that they can, be uplifted by them.
It could be through relatives too.
Well, if
There were humans before.
yeah,
so-
but if those relatives, I mean, if they're now in the Tao or not, I mean, that's the
Right,
question, right? If
No,
they're not in the Tao,
closest affinity would be if their relatives
are receiving the Tao.
haven't received the Tao, then that's the perfect, then that's
Right,
perfect.
right.
That'd be ideal, that's ideal.
Right. So we have a case like General Douglas MacArthur, you all know from history, right? American history, right? So he was a general he was responsible for supreme commander in the Pacific, right? Theater, right? So his story, so he was also a celestial, I mean, he was like a deity or, saint in the celestial heavens after he died. Okay. Why? Because he basically people like that. So a lot of like in the Chinese history, like whether it's like Guangdong or a lot of those warriors, right? Those generals, right? Because they're very loyal to the country, and even though they killed a lot of people, but it was to save the country, right? And so they have virtue, and as long as they're not like just crazy or whatever, they're very virtuous. Then they go to that celestial heaven first. If they haven't received the Tao. So he did too. Now it happened that there was this opportunity that arose because he had an affinity with someone, okay, who actually in this current time, is a transmitting master. Okay, so let me bring up this. Okay, so this is the. So then they did a sand writing, okay, to after he was uplifted, okay, by that. So then so he kind of talked about that affinity that he had and everything, and then he kind of talks a little bit about it. Okay, so basically this this transcript is happened in 79, right? It was actually 玉皇大帝, which is 关老爷 or whatever. 关圣帝君
Jade Emperor.
Jade Emperor, right? Jade Emperor brought him.
Jade Emperor
That's
is-
in the Triestreamer heaven.
Yeah,
which is the second level of the the world divas.
Yeah. So, but the Jade Emperor. Yeah, I guess he's kind of in charge of all the celestial heavens.
No,
Not
no.
not all of them.
Only
Okay.
the one.
Only
that
the
one.
second one.
The second
called
level.
World of 33 divas.
Oh, okay.
Their sixth world.
Right.
Mara is the highest one. Mara.
Oh yeah.
Mara.
No, I thought that was.
Yeah, Mara is in the heaven of, it's called the Parinirvata Basa, it's the Basa Barton. And that's supposed to be Mara.
Oh, okay.
That's six.
Right, because
sixth
it's with
level.
because he's in charge of all the desire, the world
No,
of
Mara
desires.
is not a Buddha.
No, he's
I
not.
know.
He's a celestial being.
Ah.
But he's
Ashura.
like the
He's
equivalent
an
of no,
Like
he's not
an
Ashura.
Ashura.
No. He's like the equivalent of our Satan. He would be like the equivalent.
Really?
Yeah, because
How
he
come
would
he's in
tempt you.
celestial
Yeah,
heaven?
No,
he's
he's
the one
celestial
that
too.
tempted
Buddha.
Sakyamuni after he attained enlightenment to
Yeah,
test
yeah.
him to say,
Oh.
oh, yeah, it was him.
Yeah, it was him.
Yeah, it's interesting.
He also
I
he
thought
also
he would
Because
be in the
as Lee Jiang
underworld.
said-
No,
As
Underworld
Lee Jiang
is
said, in the
it's
different
Yama.
realms
It's
of-
Yama.
Yama.
Yama. No, he's like a Buddha.
well, I don't know. Yama, well, they call him Jing. Yeah, Jing.
Yeah, he's
so
he's like a Buddha. You could, a Bodhisattva, whatever.
Saint,
He is.
whatever.
He's not a Satan. He's just in charge of the underworld. He's supposed to
Yeah,
like
yeah.
manage it.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Like he's the one that
Well, he's
records
the
your names.
he
on
does.
that-
He's
on
like the
book.
judge down there.
Yeah,
he's
like
the judge.
Yeah, like
He-
the judge. You can say
Judges.
judge, yeah.
So the people that worship Satan is Mara? No?
I guess Mara.
Yeah,
Is,
there's different
He's
concepts.
analogous
But in
to
the
it.
Buddhism
Yeah,
concept,
concept.
it's
But that is
Mara
so
is
dark,
is
though.
the Mara is the one that rules the Lord of the Devil. They call it the devil. Oh, it's like Satan. The
Yeah.
Western equivalent concept of the Satan.
right.
Western we think Satan rules the underworld. But,
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, yeah, it was Guansun Dijing who brought him to the altar to do the sand writing. And so, like, so he says, I'm the ruler of space. This is Guansun Dijing. Okay. But anyways, General MacArthur then was bestowed the title, after he was uplifted, the Noble Guard of the East. Okay, because he was, because he was a general in guarding, protecting the I guess in Asia at that time, right? Okay, so it kind of says basically, there's a lot of killing, right? He received. Okay, so he came down. Okay, right. So he kind of mentioned a little bit of his history here. Okay, right. He's commander of the army forces in Asia. Okay, so here. Okay, yeah, it's kind of skipped everything here. Went to the atomic bombs, but okay. Great number of deaths. Okay, so the war ended in World War II ended in Japan, right? And then he was the supreme commander of Allied troops over there. All right. Okay, so then he talks about China falling to communism, and then North Korea. So then he fought in the Korean War, right? Now he wanted to.
Nuke China.
Yeah, he wanted to nuke China at that point because they pushed the forces back to the Yalu River, which is the border with Korea and China, and he wanted to push forward into China to nuke it. But
He's very
Eisenhower,
aggressive.
yeah,
He's a
but
very
Eisenhower
aggressive
kind of, basically, or they decided
No, it
not.
was Truman.
Oh, it was Truman. Oh, it was Truman. Yeah,
that
sorry,
said,
Truman.
You can't do that.
Yeah. So basically, he says basically that they were. Excessive consideration by the superiors in Washington impeded his undertaking. But anyways, it was fated to end that way. All right. So anyway, he retired, and I guess he still wanted to.
He got relieved.
He was relieved.
Yeah, he
Was
was
fired
relieved.
from-
Yeah,
by
fired.
Truman.
Basically fired.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Because they think that if he invaded China, because his intent
Right.
was want to invade China.
Right.
See, and a lot of it is, it's all personal thing because of his experience
Yeah.
in World War II. That would lead to another world war because at that time, those days, China and Russia were out.
Yeah. Right. We're
So
both
they would have
communists.
another world war. And then, whatever.
Yeah. So they consider that. So I guess apparently in his heart and mind, he still wanted to do that, even though he was told not to. Okay. So, but anyways, all right. So, all right. So he's just saying the conditions in the world like this. After one war is over, another one starts. Later on, Vietnam War. Okay, all that. Anarchy. Okay, so he says in the future, the state of affairs in Asia will be even more chaotic. Okay, so as you can see, it's kind of getting there. But let's see. Yeah, so here he says a third world war is unavoidable. Okay, so depends on these leaders of the nations. They're dabbling and playing with fire. Okay, so anyways, so it says compared to the first two world wars, it'll be most devastating. Nobody's capable of predicting the drastic changes that will take place in the world situation, right? He says from these wars, fate will allow only 3 out of every 10 to escape, right? So 30% will potentially
That's very
survive.
similar to Dao De Jing. Also said that.
Dao De Jing said that?
Yeah, Dao De Jing.
Right.
Said that.
Right, so the wars will basically destroy civilization as we know it. Okay, so that that obviously means nuclear war. Okay, so anyways, he gets into this thing where his affinity to receive the Tao. Okay, so he was in his previous life, he was an ambassador from England to China at the time, and he saved basically this family, this Chinese family this Mr. Wang, well, who's currently Mr. Wang, but
In the previous life,
he was basically, well, he was like
ambassador.
the Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs.
Oh,
Okay, yeah. So obviously they had a good relationship and they were friends because of the changes in the rebellion. Right, there was a Boxer rebellion, all that stuff in China.
Right.
So he had to leave, and so basically he brought him back to England, his whole family. So because of that, making that's established that affinity, that planted a good seed, good karma. So in this, I don't know how the Master Wang knew about.
The Tao.
Maybe the holy teacher or
that's
someone.
rare,
So
because
Buddha,
during the Boxer Rebellion, that's before the China Republic. That's basically the end of the Manchu dynasty.
yeah, that's
That's 1900.
The-
1910, 1900.
Yeah.
1911 was the fall of the Manchu Empire.
Yeah.
So, or Manchu dynasty. But so this previous
Uh-huh.
Mr. Wang, it's rare to receive the Tao.
no. That time he didn't.
No, he didn't. Not
He
in
didn't.
that lifetime.
No, not in that lifetime.
Oh,
But he became a
sorry,
transmitting
sorry.
master in this
This
current
lifetime.
lifetime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So how does he know he has to uplift?
Right. So I think maybe the
In a
Buddha, one of
dream?
the Buddhas probably said,
Could be in a dream.
mentioned
Could be in
something.
a dream.
I don't know. It didn't say
Or-
it here, but
Could be.
You have an affinity with a celestial being.
Usually it's in a dream, but usually it's
no. Sometimes it's like the Buddha, Jigong Buddha, or holy teacher will mention something to say,
Yeah.
"Oh, this,
Well, no,
this,"
no.
because
Yeah,
they'll
yeah.
ask like
Typically-
Jigong Buddha to receive the Tao, to be uplifted, and so then Jigong Buddha might, allow that to happen.
well, and yeah, sometimes it is the celestial, the Qi Tian Shen themselves.
Yeah, they could
Interesting.
potentially.
would
but
give,
usually-
provide a
no.
dream.
Oh.
Yeah,
that
but for
person.
those people to give you a dream,
They need to have
dream,
merit.
They have that very high merit,
Yeah,
and
right.
permission too.
Yeah, right.
Well, yeah.
They need merit too. So if they don't have merit, usually they can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually.
Right.
I mean, if we have a dream, we would just think, oh, I had a dream. I mean, we will, right? We wouldn't think we gotta uplift somebody.
Well, these
What?
are like special. Dreams.
Yeah, this
They're
would be
much
special.
more-
I mean, it's like
they're much more
probably more direct,
obvious,
more
right,
obvious.
Much more obvious.
Okay. All right. So basically, yeah. So he also says, we should during this white period, right, white era, if a person does not establish any merits or perform any good deeds, his name will not appear in the book of merits of the white era, right, in praise of his achievements. Okay. So yeah, we have to make sure that we cultivate, perform merits, and establish our virtues. Okay. So. Here, okay, where else did he say? Yeah, he's even all those divas are looking to receive the Tao, right? But they're trying to. He says it's very difficult for them. It's
Yeah.
like, so they have to again trying to find someone that you have
Affinity.
affinity with, who's already received the
That's what I'm
Tao, who's in the Tao,
Need
right?
affinity.
Well, not just that, but within the Tao.
Right.
I mean, if they're not in the Taos, this is still useless, right? So that's very difficult for them. Because during that final calamity, that final catastrophe,
states
those,
gonna get
yeah, in those
destroyed,
realms
yeah.
are going to be affected. So saying that, yeah, when we receive the Tao as humans, we don't realize how precious it is. Whereas these, these people who are spirits, they know. Okay, and then. Right, okay, so the benefactor, right, says, so yeah, please help with the propagation of the Tao, right? So he'll do whatever he can. He just has to call his name. He'll definitely be there. And so yeah, basically, because he, as a kind of a general type person, yeah, he says, he'll even, give up his life to do it, right? So yeah, so this is to show you that this is just one example of like the deities, they're the saints in the celestial heavens. They can receive the Tao, and they all know. Or if they know about it, they're all trying to find a way to receive the Tao or be uplifted. So it's only humans who are ignorant.
Well,
Humans are
so,
tuning
well,
there.
at least they realize how precious
Yeah.
and special, you can say special, the Tao is. You know, during this period,
Right.
during this, at least during this white era or beginning, whereas we humans are clueless.
Yeah.
You know, or, you know, like 99%
Right,
are clueless.
right.
I mean, there's some that are, you know, not clueless, but most of us are clueless.
You can say they have a little bit better perspective from
Yeah,
the high,
yeah,
you know, like
yeah.
the broader perspective from there. You know, they see, they've seen life. They've seen that they can see, I guess, from their vantage point, it's suffering. Yeah, well, the
Right.
people look at all the killing, all the stuff that's going on. People are just ignorant, and so they realize that, yeah, they don't want to go back to that. They don't want to go back to that.
Well, yeah, but the most important thing really is the fact that they have become a celestial being.
Right.
So for them, it's a true realization that hey, there's a realm beyond humans.
Right.
So because for us it's just this world. But when you die, until you die, unfortunately, it requires you to die. It requires you to die for you to realize, hey, there is a realm or another world
There's another existence.
another existence beyond humans.
Yeah.
Right.
And so when you come to this realization, you realize, wow, then there's something else even more, and then hence you realize there's the Tao, etc.
Right. Right. So, yeah. So that's basically, you know, it's kind of interesting. You know, read this again. That again, everything. It also depends on our affinity, and you know, so we should always, even though we do not, let's say we try to introduce people to the Tao, but we're not successful. We try to establish a good affinity.
Well, you
Right? That's
plant
like
the seed.
planting the seed for the future. So yeah, we mentioned the Tao. You know, we don't give them a bad impression of the Tao. We give them a good impression of the Tao, and maybe they're not ready yet. And then so, but at least the seed is there.
Yeah, so that's why you don't force it on them.
Right.
Because if you force it on them,
They might have a
they'll
negative
have bad
reaction.
impression,
Yeah.
bad reaction,
Right.
or, you know, and you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So that's why, you know, you say, you know, you meet them, you know, halfway. You say enough, and that's good enough. That's it.
Right.
You know, if they don't, it's still their choice, right? So if they still don't choose to, okay, then that's it. Then that's it. No need. Don't leave them a bad taste. That's the
Right.
key.
Right.
You know, and that's it. You know, so that's good enough. You know, so that's why I don't like to say force on people. Like,
Yeah.
oh, whenever you show up, you must. You see, that to me, that you know, that's not the proper approach. That's very important.
Right. Right. Okay. So yeah. All right. So that's, you know, there's no question about this, I guess. I mean, this should be pretty clear. But then to uplift also. Oh, okay. The other thing, right? Yeah, we mentioned earlier that right. We don't like. We can only, for us normal people, we can only uplift like our parents. Even if we don't uplift our parents, right? Even in some of those reunion scriptures, they also say, you know, don't worry. Just as long as you're in the Tao, you're cultivating, and then you're doing your best, that they are benefiting. Again, you know, they don't have to suffer. You know, even if they're in the underworld, they don't have to suffer during that time. Eventually, when we attain the Tao, we return to heaven. I don't know if it's when we go back that they go back, or it's after maybe when that Pure Land, whatever, is established. I don't know.
Depends, first of all, you know, if you haven't been uplifted, that's what you're
Right,
talking about.
right.
If you've been uplifted,
Of course, that's right away.
Right.
But
But if you have not uplifted anything, yes, and you attain the Tao, okay,
Right.
you Chen Tao,
yeah,
and then for them, they will still remain in the sense that they don't suffer, But whether they will be reborn in like your time mentioned about whether in the future or whatever, it will depend upon their own karma. You know, the karma and your own karma, the one who has achieved. Because you know they do benefit from your becoming a Chen Dao.
well, no, I mean they will be either reborn in heaven or in that Pure Land.
Yeah, they will be reborn in the future.
Yeah, they're not going to remain in a.
Yeah, they won't remain in the
Yeah,
underworld.
they won't remain.
Right.
That's true.
that's what I
Right.
thought.
But how long it takes for them
When-
to reborn?
What about that? What they say, if you become a Buddha, your whole family.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sure they
that's-
also
that's
benefit
the most
right.
ideal.
Ideal case, yeah. If you become a Buddha, then everything's hunky dory.
Right, of course, for the
No,
family.
everybody still
Yeah.
benefits.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
a question of
Even though
Because
they didn't receive the
because
down.
after all, remember, you didn't uplift them, right?
Right.
And so therefore, they still have their own karmas because or their debts. Because when you uplift them, you take upon the burden, right? But if you haven't done that, they still have their burden that they have to carry out.
What about Mr. Wang taking the burden of
MacArthur?
MacArthur that had killed so many people?
Yeah.
Well, you take the burden.
Oh my God.
Well, I don't know those
lot
killing if, you know,
It's hard to say.
it's hard to say. I mean, in war, yeah, he's certainly responsible for, you know,
Well,
ordering.
he did
I mean,
mention it himself in the
yeah, there's a lot of
scripture.
killing, but
Killed a lot of people. You know, I mean, killing is like not trivial and all that. He mentioned it.
yeah, but the thing is also how many lives did he save as a result of that? So that's the thing, right? So,
It's a
right,
combination. of
right?
balance.
Because, you know, if they hadn't defeated the Japanese army, then, you know,
People still.
yeah, how many more people would have been killed?
It's hard to say.
See, that's
yes.
kind of a thing that we cannot really say.
Yeah.
So it could potentially balance out that, right? So okay. So anyways, this was, you know, very interesting. So some of these reunion scriptures it's very interesting to read them because, you know, they have a different perspective from our own. Okay. So all right. Since time is up, I thank I asked the Buddhas and John MacArthur or whatever, Noble Guard of the East, if I made a mistake.
Well, there's
Yeah,
a second
yeah,
one.
but anyways, yeah, and thank